I've got a smile on my face and I've got four walls around me. Got the sun in the sky, oh, the water surround me. Oh, we know, yeah, I win now, but sometimes I lose. Yes, I'm better, but I'm never bruised. It's not so bad. And I say, hey, 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 it's just an ordinary day. It's all your favorite mind. At the end of the day, you just got to say it's alright. Alright, it's alright. She sits in the corner, keeps her from crying. Oh, let them say what they want, she won't stop trying. Oh, you know, yeah, she'll stumble if they push her around. Yes, she'll fall, but she'll never lie down. It's not so bad. And I say, hey, 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 it's just an ordinary day. It's only your state of mind. At the end of the day, you just got to say, I say, hey, hey, it's just an ordinary day. It's only your state of mind. At the end of the day, you just got to say it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Beautiful life, there's always some sorrow. Ooh, and it's a double-edged knife, but there's always tomorrow. Oh no, it's up to you now if you sink or swim. Just keep your face steady, your ship will come in. It's not so bad. I say, hey, hey, it's just an ordinary day. It's only your state of mind. At the end of the day, you just got to say, I say, hey, 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 it's just an ordinary day. It's only your state of mind. At the end of the day, you just got to say it's alright. Alright, it's alright. 'Cause I've got a smile on my face, and I have got four walls around me. Well, welcome everyone. It's going to be a fantastic evening. We're going to be going deep into how to earn extra income, either from renting out bunkies or other cool reasons and ways to earn extra income. So in today's tough times, this is going to be a must watch for anybody looking for a little bit of side hustle cash. So we have a special guest on tonight. We have amazing interviews with an assortment of Bunkie Lifers that are doing exactly just what I described. And I'm going to do a quick little presentation too. So stick around. We'll be right back after this short message from our sponsors. Hi, I'm David Fraser, founder of Bunkie Life. We're in the building industry, but what we're famous for are small log cabin kits called bunkies that can be easily built in a weekend without needing any special skills, tools, or second mortgages. Ultimately, we help our clients create extra space for meaningful connection. Yes, we help our clients get a cool bunkie, but if you think it's just about the bunkie, you've already missed the point. Really, what this is about is creating the space and time for more meaningful connection. Having a bunkie is just part of that journey.
Mary just mentioned Bunkie Life family, and I really feel like something like this and just the whole experience is we did more than just buy a bunkie.
It's not just about the space, but what happens in the space, how it enables more connection. It allows you to spend that quality time with friends and family. It allows you to be there for each other in both senses of the phrase.
Merry Christmas!
Our family realized this when we were going through a tough time. We needed our family beside us. We had created that extra space with our own bunkie in our own backyard, and we realized how truly important it is to have the whole family together. Bunkie Life is the market leader in educational videos and content as we pioneer this growing industry. Our goal is to be the go-to source for fun, friendly, and helpful advice for families, whether they buy from us or not. Our core offering is an easy-to-build or built-for-you bunkie kit. This helps our clients quickly and easily create extra space without any building experience. We're proudly a Canadian-made family business right here in Ontario. Our bunkie is often the difference between that friend or family member coming to visit or not, being there for each other or not. The reason we do this is we believe family comes first. And when it comes to being there for each other, there are no do-overs. That's one of the reasons we've partnered with Ronald McDonald House Charities in their goal of keeping families close. Because ultimately, we want to help build a world where families everywhere have a place to unite, unwind, and unplug. We've committed to donating a night's stay at a Ronald McDonald House for every bunkie we sell. Hey guys, I brought you this huge novelty check. Check it out.
Oh my gosh!
There you go.
David, this is incredible!
And as of the end of 2023, our team and our Bunkie Life community have been proud to donate close to $200,000. I get up every morning excited to help families create extra space for meaningful connection. Thanks so much for listening, and I can't wait to hear from you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a great night. Here's our agenda. Okay, it's short, it's simple, it's sweet. It's the final countdown. I'll talk a little bit about how we have basically one more live stream before the grand prize winner announcement, which is happening on Sunday. I'll talk a little bit about the early bird sale, which is on now until January 28th. So it's kind of like the epic winner sale plus a little bit, which is great. And people have been applying for it. Sorry, we haven't had time to call every single person back yet. We're on it, but it's been a little overwhelming. So thanks for everyone that's doing that. So check out that. Then I'm going to present a little bit about Airbnb and other ways to earn Bunkie income. And then, of course, we have a special guest. He's on the line. Just like last night, I thought, less Dave, more other people. I thought Colette and Gil did just a killer job on Sunday. So I'm realizing I hate hearing my own voice. I'm sure you're getting sick of it by now too. So let's get some other smart people. This guy has a southern drawl. That's all I can say, but it's going to be great. And then we'll do questions and answers, which is I think most of tonight's presentation. So there will be no bonus announcement. Maybe there will be. We'll see. But let's get straight into it. So tomorrow, on Thursday, we're going to have a live stream on why we do this. It's the most important one. If you could please tune in on Thursday evening, it's worth extra chances to win in this contest. So that's Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please set your alarms, your calendars, all that good stuff, and we'll see you then. Also, if you could, well, I'm sure you're going to, Sunday is the grand prize draw, and we'll announce the winner as chosen by a random draw. And then, of course, as always, our best sale of the year kicks off, which is our epic winter sale. And that starts as soon as the contest closes, and it goes till February 6th. I know people often hyperbolically say, this is the best sale of the year, blah, blah, blah. It always is. Like this, if you've been following Bunkie Life for a while, it really is. It's the best deals on all of the models we sell. There will never be a better deal than the epic winter sale. That's just true every year, and will be true this year. I promise you that. So definitely check that out if you're considering becoming a client in the 2024 season. Okay. Let's go into the next little bit. I want to talk about, no, it's not being a Bunkie Lifer. That was last night. This is about Airbnb, but what we did over the past week or so, and graciously we were blessed by a lot of our clients to tune in, and they did a little kind of interview with me, and so we were able to take those interviews and turn them into this next little micro presentation, just an overview of their experience and things like that. However, our plan is over the next months, maybe even year, to I like to share the entire interview. So if you liked a little bit about what you saw, there'll be a full interview with most of the people that you'll see. But for the sake of time, I wanted to include as many people as I could. And we couldn't do that. This would be a 5-hour presentation, which is too long. So we kind of cut it down and just to get a gist of like who's doing it. This is just a small sample of all the Bunkie Lifers that have purchased a Bunkie Life, Bunkie, and maybe a bathroom Bunkie or whatever, and they've put together their own little Airbnb. There's also people, of course, that have done it on a larger scale, resorts and campgrounds and that sort of thing. But the people I've interviewed, I think you'll enjoy. And then, of course, we have an actual special guest who's doing that right now. So you'll be able to ask that person questions, and I think it should be really informative, hopefully really helpful. That's our goal. So without further ado, this is the quick video that we put together this week. How is it done? Like, have you got bookings? Like, what's happened?
The actual like Bunkie kit itself, that would have been paid off in like a month.
Okay, so for this summer, what we're going to do, we're going to bring that level of accommodations up to 80-90%.
So last year I got about 8 bookings, and then the year before that was our first year. We got around 12.
We built a 16 by 20 cabin. It was probably $60,000 in materials and 6 months of busting our butts. My all-in price is under $30,000 US, really close to about 25. Right. And that's with the bathroom bunkie, that's with plumbing and wiring and the whole 9 yards. I grossed $700 more on this bunkie than I did on what would be a over $100,000 cabin 300 yards away.
What other 2 pieces of advice would you give? Top 3 pieces of advice?
Like, I would say the pictures is like the most important part. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get people to come in. It's the only way that they get to see what they're getting. So don't cheap out on taking pictures.
I think investing in more of the actual marketing side of it and the visual, probably editing the description a little bit more. Like, I'm just learning every year how to tweak things, probably looking at people like your Bunkie, replicating it in a way and just applying it to our own situation.
You know, I mean, the building's a building until you put your own flavor into the building. And I think that's what a lot of my guests really like and appreciate.
And of course, you put those East Coast colors on every bunkie.
Yeah, these colors actually were collaboration between Benjamin Moore and the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. So those colors are what they consider the historical colors.
Like review every guest that comes in, and then they're gonna be way more likely to write one up for you too, because they want to see what they got.
Anytime you're doing a small square footage Airbnb, spend $1,000, $2,000, maybe even spend $7,000 on outdoor living space stuff and a hot tub, and don't bother going on grid, but get a propane hot tub. When you're talking about small square footage vacation rental, it's all about the outdoor space. They want that outdoor propane heater, they want the fire pit, they want the fire table, they want the hot tub. Give them that. That's way cheaper than putting in, a septic system.
I mean, if people are going to stay there, they have to have entertainment. So like we put in a miniature library. I made sure to put in like short stories, lots of like games, so cards, board games.
I think that human touch, that knowing that you're there when they need you, like, and that they're not just on, in limbo and having to go through booking, like the online travel agent and be on hold forever. They got somebody they know they can contact.
I tend to go for the lower range of things.
Yeah.
So what I realize is we need to lower our Airbnb a little bit, but then where they get you is on the cleaning fees.
As far as like what I've actually got it priced at right now, I'm at $62 a night, plus a $40 cleaning fee at the bunkie, and the bunkie is booked out better. Probably because people are going in and looking like cheapest price and they click it.
We tell people that it's like easier than building IKEA furniture.
Oh yeah, it is, yeah.
I tell people my 10-year-old grandchild could easily be the superintendent and read the drawings and tell adults what to do. It's as simple as Lego.
So thanks for everybody that participated in those interviews and made that video happen. Thank you. And our plan is to have an Airbnb section of the website where you can go and you can stay in a Bunkie Life, Bunkie all across Canada, all across North America now. So that'll be on the website hopefully within a month or so. That's our goal at least. So thanks for everyone participating in that. And all the people that we didn't have time to interview that were Airbnb hosts, we're going to get to you. We're going to interview every single one of you. And like I said, we'll post that content over the months and years to come. Because I loved every second of the interviews. We just had to cut it down. So that's kind of the overview. Now I want to share a little bit about my experience. So as you may or may not know, Bunkie Life started as just my own personal Airbnb. Well, actually, first, even before that, it started as my personal mother's crash pad. Mom and dad could stay in it. And then, of course, even before it was finished, I had it rented out on Airbnb. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm happy to share kind of my experience, my numbers. And then, of course, we have a special guest. So this is going to be brief, and our special guest will be answering most of the questions. But let's do a quick little presentation on how to earn extra income. And there's also a few extra bonus Easter eggs. So here's my quick story. In 1999, my mom told me, don't talk to strangers. In 2008, the story became, don't meet people off the internet. So in 2015, I decided, and I thought about, what if I could pay for my bunkies by renting them out to strangers from the internet? So that's what we did. In 2015 and 2016, we started the hashtag Bunkie Life Airbnbs. And the word Bunkie Life actually comes from my dad. The very first bunkie we built together. We put a little chalkboard on there for guests to read the Wi-Fi password, and he wrote something like Bunkie Life or welcome to the Bunkie Life or something like that. And that's where the name comes from. And so my basic numbers, starting in 2015, when we built our first bunkie, I was making about $10,000 per year from each single bunkie. Started with one. So my very first bunkie is this one here. Me and my dad and my father-in-law building there, and Carrie helped out too. And I started with one, and then I went to this one here, which is our first lofted one model. And then we added a summer cabin and a bathroom bunkie and things like there. So I started with one, and then at its peak, the little bunkie backyard village I have going on had actually 4 bunkies, but I rented out mostly 3. And one was just for our family because they got so booked. I was able to completely pay them off completely within 1 year in every single case, and actually even quicker than that. And a lot of people ask me, can I do this too? And I always say, that really depends on a few things. I think the major buckets of things that depends on is, how tricky is it going to be to pull this off in your area? And then, of course, what will your neighbors think? If your neighbors are cool with it, you're going to have 0 issues, even if you're going a little under the radar. If your neighbors are not on board, even if you've dotted all your T's and crossed all your I's, it's going to be difficult. So I just want to be straightforward. And then, of course, the final objection is, can you talk your spouse into it? And that was my struggle. In every relationship, there's the gas and there's the brakes. There's the planner and there's the crazy person. You can guess who I am in that relationship. So if you want to find out more about that, if you go to bunkielife.com/Airbnb, we did a presentation back in 2019, I think. This is like way back in the day, maybe 2020. And we talked about our little setup, how I talk Carrie into it. It's worth watching if you've got a spouse that's like, this sounds insane, husband, or this sounds insane, wife. We're gonna invite strangers over the internet into our backyard. Watch that presentation. I think it'll help you with that dynamic, and it'll help explain in a lot more depth than I went through tonight our little model and how it works so well. So that's kind of us. Now, what are some other ways? bunkielife.com/Airbnb if you want to find out that presentation and a few others. Now, there are other ways to earn bunkie related income. Okay, and I want to go into those briefly as well. Janet Bauman says, visionary, not crazy person. Well, a little bit of both, maybe. A little bit of both. Okay, other ways to earn bunkie income. Let's talk about that. Thank you, Janet. Other ways to earn bunkie income. So first and foremost, if you want, we'd love to have you come help make the world's best bunkie. You can work at the Bunkie Life factory and showroom in Rockwood, Ontario. We're always looking for great people. We have no shortage of availability for people that really want to work for a great company and want to contribute in a meaningful way. We're a high performance team, I would say, and we have a great time while we're doing what we're doing. And we work really, really hard, and we get We get everybody involved. So that's kind of the first thing that you could potentially do. So you can work for the world's best bunkie company in Rockwood, Ontario, if you're close enough to make that make sense. Also, perhaps you have a very specific set of skills you've acquired over your entire life. So would you be able to help clients build their bunkies? Would you be able to help them even just with foundations? Because some clients want to build the bunkie, but they want someone else to do the foundation. Maybe they want someone just to come and finish the roof. There's all the above are total options. And could your business help the Bunkie Lifers in any other way? Maybe you sell really cool composting toilets or other things. Most of our connections we've made on just person to person. We really, really want to search out and find Canadian made stuff. So Canadian contractors, Canadian products, that type of thing. That's like our goal. So if that's you and you're this small or big or medium-sized company that really our Bunkie Lifers would get off on what you do, like for example, Cubic Mini Wood Stoves. We reached out to them and it's been great recommending their product and people have had a great experience. If you're like that, we want to hear about it. We want to hear from you and we want to hear about it. So another thing is, does your business or your audience, do you have a group of people that could be served by bunkies? So, do you have a business that maybe does something not quite bunkies, but related to that a bunkie would be a perfect add-on to what you're already doing, or something you could recommend. So that'd be very interesting to us as well. And then of course, maybe you've got this huge audience. Maybe you're a influencer. Maybe you're one of those guys or girls. You got an audience. They need bunkies. We want to sell bunkies. Let's make something happen. So that's another option. And then of course, if you're someone that that's not you, but you know someone, maybe perfect if David could work with Bob the builder or Tony the tiger, whatever it is. Or I know a great local contractor. He'd be great for building these bunkies for people, but nobody knows him. He's not on the internet. But you know him, you trust him. We would absolutely super appreciate any type of recommendations on that front. We're always trying to build out trustworthy people that we can recommend to our clients, people that are going to treat them well, like we would. And so that would be my strong suggestion. So go to bunkielife.com/partners, and there's a little form there. You can fill it out and just, whether you're wanting to work for us, work with us, or recommend someone to work with us, we'd appreciate that. So that's kind of my presentation. Please reach out if you believe in our values. Family first. Do it right. Do it once. Surprise and delight. That's kind of the idea. bunkielife.com/partners. And once again, thank you for considering Bunkie Life. We look forward to the possibility of helping you and your family create extra space for a meaningful connection and to earn extra income while doing it. Shoot me an email if you want to purchase a bunkie. That'd be great. Okay. That's enough of my voice, people. We don't need any more of that. I will talk a little bit briefly about the Epic Winter Sale, which is coming up though. That is starting as soon as the contest closes. If you find out, God forbid you aren't the winner. If you find that out, I'm not saying you, but for all the other people that are listening, maybe you're going to want to purchase one. Maybe you're going to want to get a bunkie in your life. Maybe you're going to want to get in time for the spring, which is when everybody and their mom wants a bunkie for before May long weekend. So if that's you, you're going to want to check out bunkielife.com/presale, see if you qualify, because it's the Epic Winter Sale, and then a little bit of a bonus, a little bit of a get your order in early perk. Check that out. Okay. That's all I'll say about that. And I would like to welcome our special guest all the way from Southern Illinois. That's right. He's an Airbnb host. He also has a Bunkie Life video that just went viral across the nation, across the province, across the continent,
State.
across the state. Can you guys hear Keith? Okay. Do we hear you?
Check. Do you hear me?
Okay. I feel like we're hearing you. Okay. So anyways, Keith, tell us your story. Tell us the backstory. Tell us all your Airbnb experience and let's go from there.
So my first Airbnb, we started because I was in the U.S. Army and I was moving at a time when Congress cut a bunch of funding and all these civilians around the Army base lost their jobs and left town. And I was moving and the Army opened up on-post housing and I couldn't sell my house. Like I was going to lose huge money. So I started renting conventionally, did that for about 7 or 8 years. And then it wasn't working out that great. There were issues. It wasn't making any money. If anything, I was losing a little bit. So I decided to give Airbnb a shot, and I have never looked back. And barring me just being so financially well off and independent that I don't want to do anything, I just want to sit on the beach, which I'll probably never do. I don't see going back to that sort of passive income thing because it's very small. It's not good. Also,
sorry, what do you mean by the passive
regular
income
renters
thing?
tear up your stuff.
Sorry to cut you off. You said I don't see myself going back to the passive income thing. What do you mean by the passive income thing? Like renting?
Okay, so Airbnb is passive, quasi-passive, can be very passive because you can have somebody else manage it and clean it and everything.
Yeah.
But the amount of money you make doing conventional renting is minimal compared to vacation rental.
Yeah, that was my exact same experience. So prior to my own little Airbnbs, I had these student ghetto in Windsor across from Detroit. And I was like, thank goodness we actually made money this month, and we make like $100, $50, right?
Yeah.
Like actual profit. And then of course someone would like take the barbecue and put it next to the vinyl siding and melt the entire side of the house. And you'd be like, okay, that's like my profit for like the next 5 years. And I sold them all and bought the Bunkies. I forgot to mention that earlier. And it sounds like you've kind of done the same route.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so after that, we were moving later. We still had that place because it was doing pretty well for us.
Yeah.
And moved again, actually, to here. And in the intermediate time, while we were looking for a house, it was a long, painful process that I won't bore you with. But we Airbnb'd that place. We Airbnb'd a double wide trailer on 5 acres, and it went great. Then we came up here. We got this place. I knew that I wanted to be independent of any kind of employment. I wanted to be completely self-employed eventually. And so I wanted something to help make my house payment in case I didn't have another way, right? So we started building the cabin. We built what was about $60,000 in materials, so it would cost well over $100,000 if you had somebody else build it.
Yeah.
We built that 16 by 20 with a loft. It's beautiful. It's premium. It's nice. Very, very all season. You can heat it with a match and cool it with an ice cube.
Yep.
And then there's this Bunkie thing I see. And so, we started talking. I see this Bunkie thing, and I had to get involved, and I wanted one. And so I got one, and it's here. And the only regret I have is that I tried to do everything after the build myself, like wiring, plumbing, and stuff. And it's drug out forever and ever. And I should have written the check way sooner, and I'd be $10,000 richer because I drug it out and I lost months of income.
Right. And you're kind of
so
in
no regrets on that.
You're kind of, I mean, it's Southern Illinois, but it's still kind of cold there. Like it's not Florida or anything, right? So like,
right.
You kind of lost the best months or the more peak season.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
The prices are double the prices are nearly double or double 9 months out of the year compared to December, January, February, which are not good.
Yeah. So you're kind of coming into the middle of, or coming through the worst time of, like you basically started in the worst time.
I launched in the worst time, which is really stupid.
Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so what, if you don't mind, can you share numbers of like, what's happened, even though it's been the worst time?
Yeah. So December is the only full month I've got on record. I made, but let me back up. I'm going to tell the data different from how I said it last time.
Yeah.
The other cabin hit its record in November at $4,000 gross.
Okay.
Then I launched the Bunkie at like the last week of November. So it had like maybe one review when December 1st came around.
Yep.
Which is, it's hard to get renters when you don't have a review.
Yep.
December in the Bunkie, which I call a tiny cabin in the title, grossed me $1,789. The cabin that made $4,000 or that grossed $4,000 the month before only made me $1,050 some odd dollars.
Okay. Wow.
So it was over $700 better in the investment that cost me less than $30,000 versus the one that if you wanted to do it right now and, have somebody else do it would cost you probably $130,000.
Wow. Okay. Yep. That makes sense. And then how's January been going? And are the numbers comparable?
It's scary. And then it surprises me. because I don't have a lot of like far out. Like if you looked on my page right now, you would see that like the second or the actually we're almost the end of January. If you would have looked at the beginning of January, you'd have gone, wow, January's sparse. We're not going to make any money. But I look back and my occupancy rate in January is over 50%. And I think it's probably closer to 70%. And the rest of January right now, like what's remaining in the month is over 50%. We get a lot of last minute. We're 5 minutes from an interstate highway. So we also allow pets, and that really encourages people, they're coming down the highway. They want to stay somewhere. They look on Airbnb, they look at the cheapest price, or they look for something interesting. And we meet both those criteria.
That's awesome.
And so we get lots of last minute bookings, and that helps us on weekdays because we're in a tourist area. The weekends book out really good, especially from March to November. Yeah. We don't miss any weekends at all. But the weekdays are sometimes hit or miss, and being the cheapest and close to the interstate fills those up.
Yep. And wow. So I'm trying to think of what else I would ask you. So a lot of people are asking here in the chat. So maybe let's go right into Q&A because people are naturally kind of asking questions.
Totes.
So Steve Wheeler asks, I don't know if you can read this there, Keith.
Yep.
What is your nightly rate?
So I have gone very low in November. So it's been between 50 and 62, just depending on how desperate I was the moment, how I was feeling emotionally. Okay. For my weeknights, which I call Sunday through Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't think I've gone under 71 on Friday and Saturday. And for all of those, there's a $40 cleaning fee.
Okay.
So if somebody's there for one night, it's really like, 90 to 110 or something. Because most of them are 1 or 2 nights. I actually do have some that are staying for multiple nights right now, and then coming up, there's like a 3-nighter, I think, a 4-nighter, then a 3-nighter, okay, right in a row, 7 days booked.
Okay, now if you were to kind of extrapolate, I probably haven't done these numbers yet, but based on what your cabin expands like in the summer, because people are asking about, what do you think about in the summer? Presume different rates in the summer.
Way different for me.
Yeah.
And for you guys, I would assume too.
Oh yeah. I always
there's a special breed that wants to stay in a cabin in the woods in the wintertime in Canada.
Yeah. You're still, there's snow on the ground there, right? At your place.
There was, it melted today because it rained, but our temperatures were down to 0 Celsius, almost every night in a row for a week.
I appreciate that you translated into Celsius for us. I really appreciate that too.
I'm translating. I can say, we'll see you tomorrow. Eh?
You just sound like a hick.
What's that about?
Good try.
You said I talked funny. I don't know what you're talking about. All of y'all talk funny.
So that's only gonna get better. So where do you think you'll be able to pay off the Bunkie?
What do I think?
Think you'll be able to pay off the Bunkie this year?
So the kit itself is, by June probably. The kits, I should say, the entire thing, and I've got power going to it at all, and when you're running wire that can handle 100 amps and all that, and digging in the ground and just everything, like that's a lot more money. It'll be done within the year, and I think if I look at what I was getting off of the other cabin, I think the highest I regularly booked it out was about 149 to 154 plus a $40 cleaning fee, 149 and 154 per day plus a $40 cleaning fee during the summer. November was like all the time, and then the weekdays were 99 a night for the most part. So I don't think, right now I've got them about on par for booking, and I'm maybe 10% lower on the Bunkie than I am on the big cabin. Wow. I think probably in November, I just didn't lower the price on the big cabin enough because I thought clearly it's worth more than the Bunkie. But right now I'm really, really close. Like some of the nights it's like 62 on the Bunkie and 71 on the cabin, the big cabin.
That's wild. Okay.
So I think I'll be close. I don't see it being less than 119 basically 9 months out of the year. On the weekends, on Friday and Saturday, and then probably 79 or 89 on weekdays.
Yeah. And Cynthia Rooney pointed out you're talking in US dollars. So you can take that number and multiply it by about,
add 40%, 40%.
Yeah. That's which is good to know.
Canadian.
Okay, now I was thinking if it's cool with you, Keith, can I play that video that you just played? That Keith is
That was a great video, by the way.
yeah, it was. No, I was thinking
So full of good stuff.
yeah, you're talking about the video. I'm talking about your video.
Oh, my video. I'm thinking of like the. Well, my video is great, obviously. No, just kidding. No, the whole rundown of interviews and everything was just gold.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, that was mostly all my awesome clients, and you were one of them. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna share the screen and show, and maybe you could narrate if you can see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Bunkie Life Heartland. So Keith is actually in his little area down in kind of the heartland of the USA. He's helping promote Bunkie Life and selling cabins and stuff, and doing a great job. And I thought this video will explain. A lot of people are asking, "What's your what's your setup?" And I thought this is like really quick way to show it, what you've got here. So I'm gonna play this video, and hopefully people can see it. Can everyone see that? Okay. This is Bunkie Life Heartland's video, and if you want to narrate this, Keith, we can hear you.
I'm walking into my bunkie. There's my bathroom bunkie. It's very close to the big one. And the people that stay there don't complain about it, just people on the internet that want to be snarky. But we're over 750,000 views now, so there's like 5 snarky guys out there. Got mini splits in there on the HVAC, which works really good. That's a super cheap IKEA kitchen setup. It's $165, including the sink and the faucet. Upstairs, we did 2 twin mattresses with a king-size memory foam topper. 2 twins equals a king. So you can fit them up the stairs and get it in and out. You know, if somebody pees all over it, I don't know, somebody dies on it, you want to get it out. Awesome. This had to be a very fast video because you're limited to 1 minute and 30 seconds on a Instagram and Facebook reel. So that's why it's such a fast walkthrough. Yeah. And this was one take. I think this is the first time I did it. So that worked out pretty good. I've got to add gutters. I want to add gutters to the side of my bunkie. If you want your bunkie to last 100 years, I think if you put gutters on it and like, don't let, keep it elevated so the mud's not sloshing up against it or something, it will. There's things in Europe that are hundreds of years old that are made of wood. Yep. All the exposed piping in there, you can see it's a flush mount shower. The shower sides I did with fiberglass reinforced plastic, FRP, over spare bunkie pieces, and then siliconed all the screws it was holding together with. So hopefully it's not going to like leak and rot. But if it does, it's a bathroom bunkie. It's super cheap. I can replace it. Tankless water heater for somebody that wants to, take a shower.
That's awesome. Okay. Thanks for that narration. And the cool thing to point out is that particular video just randomly got a bajillion views. Way more than any of our videos have ever got. So fantastic. Yeah. It's
over 1.1 million between Facebook and Instagram now because it might be 1.2 now. I mean, it was 1.1 this morning.
Yep. So the people down in the South, very excited about bunkies, which is very cool. Okay.
They don't even know what they are yet.
No, they're just like, I love it. I want it. I'm American.
What's a bunkie?
Make it happen. Yeah. So, very cool. Very cool. Here's a question from Vicky. How do you keep people from wandering all over your property by your house for privacy? Great question.
Well, it's America, so we just shoot them. No, I'm just kidding. You knew I was going to say something like that, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not a problem. Oh, you mean like the people that are staying in the bunkie?
I think that's
what he
means.
let them.
Okay.
For the most part, they don't.
Right.
I think I've had of 200 guests that have been in the cabin in the bunkie. Maybe 2 people have actually wandered within view of my house. We've got a lot of acreage.
How big is your place?
About 50 acres.
Oh, wow. It's huge. Yeah.
It's big. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 and I never had guests. Like you've been in my house, right? Like there's a little bit of a hill there.
There's not that much space.
No, it's not as much space.
It would be very easy for them to wander to your house.
Yeah. But for the most part, I mean, I never heard them. I never saw them. Not that I didn't want to see or hear them, but generally they were separated enough and I have 2 acres. So, it just depends on the layout, I think, more than anything. So Cynthia Rooney asks, love the concrete pad. Comment on the concrete pad a little bit, but what is the water source?
So as someone who has a concrete pad, I would actually not recommend a concrete pad. It has the illusion anyway of permanency, but, the biggest deal probably is it kind of takes away your flexibility with like putting the water through, which that was the other question, right? Yep. So we actually have it's not county water, it's district water, but we call it county water most places in the U.S. It's coming down the road in a pipe and you tap into it just like the city.
Yep.
my house is on a well, and I refuse to pay the $10,000 or whatever it's going to cost to run it all the way to the house. But I've got the bunkie on it and the other cabin, and so they there's what they call a sweep. Okay, like it's like a pipe that goes in at your footer and comes up into or a piece of conduit basically. It's PVC, and you run your pipe through that, or you attach to it depending on how you do it. And most people are used to having like the standard construction thickness of walls and so forth.
Yep.
So they're going to put them in a certain spot. And for me, we were doing this ourselves and we were guessing as best we could. And I kind of got it wrong. I made it work, but there's some stuff that's a little Scotian there to kind of get the stuff to fit around it. Yep. In the end, I wish I would have done it differently. If I had done an elevated deck platform, I could do it like I wanted to. Like I could, oh, never mind. I don't want the kitchen there. I'll do the kitchen over there.
Right.
And nothing would have stopped me. So there's a flexibility there. It also just gets you away from the ground. If it was on an elevated deck platform, I wouldn't need gutters because the runoff from the roof wouldn't splash that high.
Yeah.
And if you have a step, I would recommend not having your bunkie. Like if you get a bunkie with a deck, don't have it the same level. Let the deck come down a step. So there's just less, because you shouldn't have it on the front end of any of our stuff because what's the hideaway? The hideaway does drain to the front, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But other than the hideaway, you don't have a problem. But even on that, but even still, I would just get it down, get the bunkie up because it's just a bunkie, but the thing's going to last longer than you will if you keep it dry. You need to stain it regularly, just like anything that's exposed wood like this. But yeah, there's some advantages to the deck, or elevated deck platform, and then put your elevated deck platform, if you're going to go that route, on something that keeps all the wood out of the dirt, out of the gravel, whatever. Which you don't have to go that fancy on it. I mean, you can just do gravel, a decent amount of 3/4 aggregate, clean gravel, so it'll drain well, and then just your cinder blocks, patio, paving stones, whatever, or pour a little concrete footings, use sono tubes is something you call it the same thing up there, but little round thing that you can cut to the height you want, pour concrete in it, and then build your deck off those little concrete bits.
Yeah.
And then you'll basically be keeping the concrete dry, and you'll be keeping the treated wood posts from that really dry.
Yeah, that's a great solution. And we talked about foundation a couple of live streams ago, and when I talked about sonotubes, which we call them sonotubes too.
Okay.
So people are saying they saw the video, which is cool. Now, if
I had just said 0 Celsius not long ago. It was 0 Fahrenheit. I think that's about -17 Celsius. That's how cold it got here.
Okay, we were now we feel real sympathy.
Actual cold, right?
Okay. Now we feel authentic sympathy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like, oh, how terrible! All the way down to freezing.
People are saying, "I love your setup."
Thank you, Kathy.
We should shout out Roxanne. Yeah, Bunkie Life Heartland on Instagram. So that's Keith's kind of thing.
Tell all your friends.
He's crushing
in America.
Yeah, tell the American friends. So, here's a question Megan asked. I don't know if it's for me. How much land is owned? Keith has 50 acres. He's got, I guess, a cabin and a bunkie. And then I have 2 acres and I've got too many bunkies. I've got 5. They're not all rented out right now. So approximately how much cost for the extra washroom setup on top of the bunkie? What was kind of your all-in costs of your bathroom?
I cheated a little bit because there's a lot of salvage.
Okay.
In it. There's salvage copper pipes, salvage copper fittings. Like I said, leftover pieces of bunkie, like that you make bunkie walls out of.
Yep.
That is the backing for my shower walls and stuff that the FRP is attached to.
Yep.
But let's see here. Let's say the kit's up. The kit is a little higher now than it was before, but I think it's about 20. Okay, this is American. I'm going to speak American again.
Okay.
It's $2,675 US, probably about $3,500 Canadian.
Okay. And next time you speak American, I'm going to grab my guitar and play like a banjo lick, just so it makes
That would
sense.
be perfect.
Okay. All right.
And I'll say paddle faster. Yeah. So that plus, I have less than $1,000. Except the composting toilet, which is $950 US.
Yeah.
and I already had it.
Oh, we already had it. Well, that's fantastic. Yep. Jane asks, I'm curious about the shower, where it drains. Do you have a holding tank? How does that work? And if we're violating a ethical law, you can just say pass.
Don't ask me that question. No, holding tank.
Okay, cool. And then you get that pumped, or what do you do with that?
Yes.
Okay.
I really want to use it for watering plants, and I think it kind of depends. It's like laws are typically written to make anything that makes sense difficult. So
I disavow. I'm trying to stay on the good side of the law here, but yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I will say this: being down here in the land of the free, where I'm at in the middle of nowhere, you can just about do whatever you want. Like there's no inspections, there's no code. It is open code. Do what you want. Almost any major metropolitan area where the vast majority of Americans live, they will need a permit.
Yeah.
To build any of our bunkies.
Sure.
Which is crazy. Whereas in Canada, you guys can build these bunkies without a permit.
I mean,
almost everywhere in Canada.
Asterisks, make sure you comply with the local mafia.
Right? Yeah.
I mean,
check with
this
your
in
local
downtown
mafia.
Toronto might be a challenge, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay. Does Airbnb...
And it's different. Like you go 5 feet, it changes.
Oh yeah.
The law completely changes. Yeah,
that's true. Because you guys are a little
every
more...
5 feet.
Yeah.
There's a different zoning ordinance for each place.
Yeah. Does your Airbnb cover your insurance? What are you doing for insurance? That was a common question.
Airbnb covers it. I have not actually. It's funny you mentioned that. I've been busy. I have not added the bunkie to the policy for the whole property. I need to do that. I have added the other cabin. A lot more money in that one. But Airbnb does cover basically anything that would happen during a stay.
Yeah.
I've never used it. I've never had anything significant enough to bother. The biggest thing I've had happen was somebody knocked this cool mirror off the wall.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
It was $35 at TJ Maxx or something.
Yep. The step ladder, how much weight can it take? It's a Carrie question.
That sounds like a question for Carrie.
It does sound like a Carrie question. A lot.
A lot. Somebody, David, you probably do know. I've never had to deal with having, you 750,000 people or close to 1 million people have looked at this stuff.
Yeah.
There are a few really special people within that group, and they all feel the need to say something.
Yes.
I have really tried not to say, okay, Karen, for a lot of my replies and stuff.
Yeah.
Or say anything insulting, but it's hard not to.
Yeah. Well,
somebody asked, I don't think I could, that ladder would hold me. And I said, well, if you'll fit through the opening, it'll hold you.
Right. It's a 36-inch door.
I think that's the limit.
Yeah. All right. Good to know. Alice Terpstra asks, where does the floor insulation go? How'd you pull that off?
Under the floor.
Yeah, but tell us how you did that.
So the way it's put together, this is very easy on a slab. This is a little bit harder on a deck frame. But on a slab, basically your sleepers, which is a 2x4 laid flat, are 1.5 inches thick. I use and would recommend to everybody 1.5 inches XPS insulation. I think that's some kind of extruded polystyrene or something. It's foam. It's rigid foam insulation, pink stuff usually. It's an inch. Get that for 1.5 inches thick. It fits perfectly between your sleepers. You just have to cut it, to be wide, the proper width. Slap it down in between those 2x4s, and it's the same height. And then if you want to get super cool about it, get some insulation tape, which is usually silver.
Yep.
And tape it so that air doesn't move through.
Yeah, that's great advice. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you're doing it with the deck frame, you have to put something under to catch it. But if you do your deck frame should be perpendicular to your sleepers. Sorry, trying to find my camera here. The 2x8s or whatever you have underneath will be right there so that your insulation can rest on that. And in that case, I probably would want to tape it because it's just kind of floppy anyway.
Yep. Okay, good to know. I'm trying to scroll for some other great people commenting on how cold it is in their place. So I'm a little bit behind on the comments, but people, sorry about that.
We had a guest in it down to 0 Fahrenheit.
Okay. And that's with the heat pump probably rocking pretty hard, right?
The heat pump was rocking hard. It was going into defrost mode.
Yep.
A lot. I think I told somebody the other day it's about 14 to 17, negative 14 to 17 Celsius. It starts having issues.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Get a wood stove or a gas heater.
Yeah. That was Carol's question.
Canadian
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, for sure. There's some really great,
wood stove.
Yeah. Wood stoves are awesome. Cubic mini wood stove is great. There's other great ones too. Also the Martin propane wall heaters, they mount out the wall. They can direct vent out the wall. Really, really solid. Any horror stories? Airbnb horror stories, Sean asks.
I don't know if I should talk about Okay, I'll tell it because you want to know, right?
Yeah,
I mean, like, what are you up for?
Yeah.
The absolute worst thing that happened. I'm always a little suspicious when someone local books last minute.
Right.
Especially if I've dropped the price a lot.
Okay.
I'm if somebody asks for a discount because they said they can't afford it, tell them to take a hike and go sleep in a tent.
Okay.
If you give them a discount, they will rate you poorly. I don't know why, but that's just been my experience. They will trash your place and rate it poorly.
Yep.
Blows me away that people are like that, but it's just what it is. No, a guy came from not that far away. He just said he had like an emergency in the house.
Is this the cabin or the bunkie?
This was the cabin. This was before the bunkie. There's no horror stories really in the bunkie yet.
Yeah.
The cabin, this guy said he had like the water or the power out in his house or something like that was happening. And he needed to come for a night. I was like, okay, maybe 2. He said, maybe 2. So sure. Okay. And it was the winter. Once he got there, I think he went and booked it for a second night. Man, no, I think it was just one night he stayed. And then in the morning, he asked if he could check out late. And we're like, well, we can push it to noon. It's usually 10 o'clock, but we can push it to noon. And I don't think he was actually out till 1. And when we got in there, there was blood splattered on the shower. And it was weird. And we cleaned it with a lot of Clorox and gloves.
Right.
But nothing was actually damaged. There was no blood anywhere else. It came off the shower really easy.
Okay.
That was really weird. He said he got sick and that he vomited or something. He actually told us that leaving.
Yeah.
But it was like vomit blood. It was weird. I don't know what was going on. I pray for him. That is the worst thing that's ever happened. There's never been like a weird social, and this is like 200 guests in.
Yeah.
More than that, actually, if you include North Carolina, gosh, we're probably 500 guests in. We've never had anything where anybody was just, obnoxiously rude to us or yelled at us or anything like that. It's never happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for me, while we're on the horror stories thing, there's a couple people that broke some things. Usually they told me about it, offered to pay, and I was like, it's not a big deal. But the worst one was, so 2018, very hard year for the family. We were going through a medical issue with Carrie. I'll be actually talking a little bit about this on Thursday night, so I don't want to go too into it. But basically, we're going through a medical issue. I'm at the hospital with my wife, and somebody had booked in, and then they booked it first. And now in my ad it says no dogs. Like, the dogs are not allowed. You have to check a thing that says, I will not bring a dog. I realize there's no shower here, right? Like, that's the thing, right? I said no dogs. He goes, hey, is it okay if I bring my dog? And I'm like, no, it's not. Right? Like, and the only reason is I don't want your dog to, like, I live in the middle of nowhere with fields of adjacent to coyotes. I don't want their little fluffy running off and getting eaten by a coyote. That's the only reason. I love dogs. He goes, I go, no, it's not okay that you bring your dog. Right. And he starts ripping into me and like going like full on, like bunny boiling psychopath on me. Right. And I'm just like, dude, like no dogs. Right. And he's just like, I can't believe you did this. And he goes on and he like starts, it's just crazy. But like just where I was contrasting with like, I'm at the hospital and trying to comfort my wife. And so it's just like, don't need crazy guy that doesn't read instructions or think they apply to him, right? It was always the dog people that were like, yeah, like my dog doesn't shed. My dog plays well with everyone. It's like, I know your dog. I don't care. There's no dogs. Like, it's a rule. It's got to be for everyone. I'm an equal opportunist, no dogs. So that was the worst one for me.
Yeah, I haven't had anybody like that. Something about so the composting toilet. We had that before in another one, and that's how the other one is too. So some people, you tell them it's a composting toilet, and they're shocked that there's human waste in the composting toilet. It's 1 out of 20. 1 out of 30, maybe. So if you're going in cheap and you're saying off grid, I'm going to take a wild guess and imagine that you dramatically reduce the number of people that are like that.
Right, the whiners.
And they're going to pay about as much money anyway.
Yeah. How much snow weight can the roof hold? So I know they're engineered for northern Ontario snow loads. So most people on this call that they can handle your snow, unless you're like in Nunavut or something crazy, or Alaska. Okay. How to make your property interesting for Airbnb interest? Christina Vanderhoek asks. You talked a little bit about that, but I'd like to elaborate.
So we do. I want my kids to be involved in everything we do, and I have the entrepreneurial bug. We have a kind of a play company where we just play with, where we roast coffee and we sell it. It's mostly to people we know, but we also provide it for our guests. So our guests have a little bit of coffee, enough for a full pot, maybe two, of coffee that was roasted within the last week with child labor, my own children.
Right.
And we pay our children a little bit to do it.
Yeah. And
we also, in the winter, early spring, we tap maple trees because we really just want to be Canadians.
Right. It sounds like it.
We don't get nearly as good of a run. But yeah, we tap maple trees. We've got some friends not too far away that do as well. We go together with our sap, and he's got a pretty big evaporator, 90 gallon an hour wood fired evaporator. And so we make maple syrup. And so we give our guests little bitty vials. You can get them on Amazon for it's like less than 10 cents each vial, I think. They come in 100 packs with little corks in the top. And we put one in there for each guest. So if it's like a mom, dad, kid, we'll put 3 in there. It costs us very little money. It takes very little time to do it. And, you could probably, that extra $20 that somebody might go, this is only a 4-star value. When they get the fresh coffee and the maple syrup, they're like, it's 5-star value.
6-star value. Yeah, exactly. I think a good question is to always ask people, what would 7 stars look like in my little area? How could I do a 7-star thing and then back it off a little? Yeah, I love that. Okay, hold on. Do you allow guests to have a fire? Do you supply a fire pit?
I have a little metal fire pit outside. I have a wood stove in my other cabin. It has a concrete floor.
Right.
I would trust Canadians probably more with a fire in my bunkie than I would Americans, because we don't start a lot. Most people, not a lot of people out here that are like super proficient at operating a wood stove anymore.
Yeah. I actually think that's becoming true of Canadians as well. Rural Canadians, less so, but people in the city, some people have never experienced even a campfire. I would have to sometimes go up there. Yeah. There'd be like a 25-year-old dude with his like girlfriend, and they're out for the weekend. And he's like, "Hey, dude, can you please go and light the fire for me?" The campfire. So, yeah.
Don't tell her.
Yeah, don't tell. Just have it lit there. Pretend I did it.
I'm going to take her for a walk.
Yeah.
I'm going to send her off over
come
there
back
to
and
look at something, and you start it real quick.
Yeah. Okay, Lori, thanks for reminding me. Who is the winner of the toque from Sunday night's comments? I have not gone back and read them over. I apologize. I read some of them and I fell asleep on Sunday, so I got to go back. I'm going to let that.
What's a toque?
A toque is a toque, eh? Just,
it's your hat.
Yeah, it's your hat. You throw it. Yeah, you put it on the toque and you go.
It was up there, and I thought she said, "What's the winner of the toque?"
No, it's a toque. It's a toque. When you're out for a rip, with the boys. Yeah, put on the old toque. Keep you warm.
You're giving away some interesting gifts, David.
Yeah. So Lori, I promise I'm gonna give that away on Sunday at the very latest, or I'll try to do it earlier. Okay. How about our wins in Newfoundland, Canada? Well, I don't know if you heard the Newfie talking earlier on my interview, but they're on the like right on the ocean in Newfoundland, and Newfoundland, I should say, and they've got those 4 colorful bunkies that I showed earlier, and they've held up. Those are beautiful, by the way. So that's Burin Eco Tours, or Burin, Bjorn, they call it, Burin, and then also Smuggler's Cove. It's a business that my friend Mike owns, and he's got 4 bunkies, and he's getting more, and they're awesome. So check them out. They're like, if you're going, I actually want to plan a trip to Newfoundland, and because I love Newfies and I want to go there. It's the only province I haven't been to. So anyways, yeah, definitely.
We should all go there and stay in the bunkies.
That would be awesome. Okay.
We can make super sweet content.
Okay, people are asking good questions here, but I'm trying to keep them on topic with like Airbnb.
Bad question.
I need a bad question. Okay, let's get a bad question. If you have any questions for Keith, fire them out. I'm trying to scroll down as fast as I can here. People are talking about the bloody bathroom at this point, so I'm a little behind.
Yeah, like how many years have we been doing it? 8 years? 8 years or so of Airbnb? No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I'm mixing up my dates. Yes, about 8 years of Airbnb.
Yep. Cool.
And that's the worst.
What?
I mean, they're few and far between. Like anything remotely. The worst thing that happens is like somebody gives you a less than 5-star review for something that you don't think is legitimate.
Yeah.
Somebody just did that based on 2 things. There was human feces in the composting, and then also the door handle. It's not a knob, it's a handle like the stock one, but I've got a $200 Schlage coated keypad entry one for the Bunkie for Airbnb. And if you lock it on the inside or the outside, whatever, but if you just lock the inside, if you lock it from the inside, it still works to open the door from the inside because that's fire code.
Right.
Because they don't want you having it locked and then a kid or whoever can't get out.
Yep.
She complained that her dog learned to open it while she was there. And if he wasn't so well trained, he might have gotten lost.
Yeah.
So she rated us low because come on.
Yeah.
That is the most annoying thing about Airbnb. And you know what? I could probably go look at my bank account and get over it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you got to do. That's what you have to do. Okay. If you're looking for a tiny wood stove to keep your bunkie warm, Unforgettable Fire in the USA have the Caddy and the Kimberly. Okay, I'll check them out. That's good to look into. Do you know about those guys? You're from America. Do you know those people?
Nope.
Okay. What are the questions
Unforgettable
we have?
Fire.
While we have an Airbnb expert here, folks, what questions do you have for the man? Do you suggest to go with the bigger version of the Bunkie? So we didn't really fully clarify, but you have the Haven Ultra, which is the one we're giving away. But there's also the Haven regular, which has a half loft. So the loft only goes halfway into it. What would you suggest? And any thoughts there on what model or models?
It depends on your market. If you want to have the possibility to serve people or serve groups of more than 2, go with an Ultra. If you think you'll never give it to anybody more than 2, then rent it out rather. Then you're probably just fine with a regular Haven.
Yeah.
And that's a good question in terms of like, well, why not just do a getaway cabin?
Yeah.
It's half the price.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are doing that. We interviewed some people that have a getaway cabin. I mean, but there's other considerations at play too. Like, what does your family want to stay in when they come to visit, right? Because you can block off.
Actually, do a chalet if you can do a small one because it's beautiful.
Yeah, a chalet is beautiful.
It's prettier.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, it's a matter of like, there's a lot of factors. What do you want to have on your property? Like maybe one day you'll stop Airbnb-ing, but you still own the Bunkie. So what do you want to have there? And there's a lot of things to think about. What can you talk your wife into is the biggest one for me, at least.
And if you did multiple, and this also goes into that idea of what do I want on my property later on, maybe get a larger 1-story, like the Hideaway or the Rockwood, and the bigger 199 square foot version of that, because one day your knees aren't going to work as well.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Or grandma, grandpa are coming, their knees don't work as well.
Yep. What is your electricity bill for using the heat pumps?
So we're at 9 cents a kilowatt. The worst days I have had is when the door got left open and it was 0 outside, and it was probably open for greater than 16 hours, and I probably had a 6, not even 6. I didn't hit 60 kilowatts. So it was $5 US spend.
Okay. That's the worst. So, yeah, okay. And you monitor that with like an ammeter every day, or how do you monitor that?
I do. I have an app. Well, not an ammeter. I have an app. Thankfully, my electrical co-op in this rural area is awesome, and
Oh, that's cool.
they do that. So I can look at every day on each, because I've got 4 different electricity drops on my property. I got one at the barn, I got one at each cabin, and I got one at the house.
Yep.
And so I can see what everything's burning.
Okay, cool. Brenda asked, what's the average nightly charge for an Airbnb in Ontario? Now that is really rare. I was shocked. I was interviewing people this week and I was like blown away. So, one girl didn't make the interview, but she's awesome. I think I want to feature her whole interview later. One night she got $400 for her bunkie on Manitoulin Island. It was like a long weekend in August. 400 Canadian dollars. And then I was getting
I'd take 400 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, I would too. But I say like, so Josh Wood, he has one of the most popular bunkies on Airbnb in all of Canada, I believe. He was getting like, $250, $300. And now he's really laid it out well. That's, a pretty epic one. And then I'd say on average though, like I was like prior to COVID, when I was really in my full swing of things, I was getting like $90-ish a night. Plus cleaning fee.
And those are small bunkies. Those are 1 stories,
yeah,
right?
those are my 1 stories. There's like the getaway cabin.
It's a tiny bedroom.
Yeah. And I don't have any amenities. Like I'm like not on the lake. I don't have 50 acres. I just basically have a fire pit and a cool view. And no shower, right? So
a cool view of flat Ontario.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
From a hill in the middle of flat Ontario.
Yeah. So it can really vary that, I'd say on the low end, if you run your numbers at like $70 a night, they should still, give you like 100% return on investment over the course of the year. If you're not putting in golden bed sheets and, you sensibly decorate it, I think, and build it yourself is a huge savings, right? Because you built it yourself with your family, with your kids actually. So yeah. Here's a good question. Do you have any challenges with people looking for wheelchair access with your Airbnb?
Hasn't happened yet. My other cabin, so we don't have any laws in this case for Airbnbs, like having to be. There's a ADA law here, Americans with Disabilities Act, but it doesn't require us to have to be handicap accessible. But I tried to make it as handicap accessible as I could, make it handicap feasible. Mm-hmm. And I think there's been one guest that had someone in a wheelchair, and they cared about that.
Yep.
You can do it in a bunkie. We actually had somebody, it was a Rockwood, right? We just saw recently they had modified to put a 36-inch front door in it, and a little ramp.
Well, I think the Rockwood already has a wide door because it's double door. You're thinking of there's some Make-A-Wish builds where
maybe it was.
Yeah, they built it. We've built full ramps onto a number of bunkies. Usually it's like one of our French door double door bunkies, like a Rockwood or a Weekender or a summer cabin or the Hideaway. That's usually the ones that people are choosing because
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, what would you do / how would you Airbnb help you if a guest didn't leave? Squatter. Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
It's never happened.
Right.
I was worried once or twice. Really, the only thing that's happened is maybe they're traveling through and they're on a different time zone or they overslept. And my checkout's 10 o'clock, which is early-ish. There's probably a lot of places it's 11.
Yep.
We do 10 checkout, 4 check-in. And then if somebody asks the favor of adjusting that, we'll usually give it to them.
Yeah.
And that gives you enough that you can say yes to that favor. But we did have somebody that was still in about 11:15, and we had we did do all our resets until recently, and we had a friend start helping out. She's doing a great job. Now that we've got 2 of them going, but she drove in and there was still somebody there. So like she went and did the other place first.
Yep.
And she pretty much got that one done. And they were still there. And at this point, we had been messaging them. Oh yeah, we'll get out real quick. And it still took them like, almost an hour to get out.
Yeah.
That's the worst we've had. I guess at some point you call the cops.
Yeah. I mean, so a point I wanted to make to that question is like, it's not the same as a tenant. Like in Ontario, especially, like once you become a tenant, basically you just might as well sign your life away. Like I sold all my rentals for the exact reason of like, they almost, like, it's as close to owning the house as possible in terms of like the way the law sees it. Getting anyone evicted is almost impossible. So it's not like that at all. There is a temporary rental. The agreement you have is very much limited to the time frame they're there. There's an exit date. There's no chance of them becoming like a squatting tenant. So legally you have every right to evict them. Just like would someone not evict them, but like ask them to leave and eventually call the cops, like, if they don't, because it's a very short period.
They're just trespassing.
Yeah. It's not there. So there's a lot of that. My wife worried a little bit of that. I don't think the risk is really there like there would be with a long-term rental, because there's professional tenants that go and rent places and then never pay, and all the nightmare stories that are no longer part of my life.
I have a friend who does a lot of rental places, and that is his biggest beef with it right now. He's like, why am I doing this anymore?
Yeah. It's,
and the rent keeps going up because less and less people want to do it because it's so impossible.
Yeah.
To deal with it.
Yeah, there's everyone's like, well, we want to have tenant rights, which I can totally respect, but then there's the flip side of that is no one's going to actually, like, you can't force people to rent their house out and take a ton of risk on. So people just don't do it. Is Airbnb better than VRBO, or do you advertise on both?
Yes and yes.
Yes, it's better. VRBO is better?
No.
Airbnb
is better than VRBO, and I do advertise on both.
Oh, okay. Yep. Good to know.
You can sync them up within the two apps. I use another app called Hospitable.
Okay.
That, I don't know, I might be wasting $40 a month, but I've got it set up now to where it automatically sends all my messages and stuff. And it also sends messages to like all of the teammates kind of deal, Yep. There's a lot of management tools in there, especially if you have more than one. It's kind of nice. There's also a company, I don't know if they do, I think they do, I think they're international, called Evolve Vacation Rentals.
Yep.
You know that one?
I've heard of them, yeah.
We did that at one point in North Carolina. The problem we had is that they drove the prices so high that the people were underwhelmed when they actually got there.
Oh.
They send a professional photographer in.
Right.
And the pictures just made it look so good. And then we didn't live there. So we didn't know that like this needed to be repainted, and this this paint was chipping, and this caulk was mildewed or whatever. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
And the person we had doing our cleaning at that point, we were kind of doing it out of pity. She was getting elderly and really needed the job. Family wasn't taking care of her. We didn't want to fire her.
Yep.
Yeah,
Do you have more couples renting or families?
Couples,
yeah.
It's right now it's actually maybe a quarter, at least one or two kids. We've had, I think, up to 3 kids in there with mom and dad in the Haven Ultra. And, but mostly it's couples because this is a wine area. There's a bunch of wineries in our county, and that's one of the biggest reason people come here, plus national forest hiking. So it's couples, a lot of couples, romantic getaway.
Yep. Okay, cool. So I'm trying to get these are very good questions. Okay, Mike Moore, this is a common thing we get as an Ontario question. Now that square footage has changed to 160 square foot before requiring a permit, are you planning to make a larger bunkie, a 10 by 16? First of all, it hasn't really changed. There's been an addendum onto the Ontario Building Code. So the rule is always 10 square meters or less, you don't need a permit. That's been the rule for many years in Ontario. That's true in BC and a bunch of other provinces as well. Do your own due diligence, of course. And then more recently in Ontario only, there's a new rule in addition to that where you can build up to 160 square feet or 15 square meters, provided it's a single story. It is not attached to your house and you have a house on the property, and it's for storage purposes only. Okay. So do we have the Rockwood and the Hideaway at exactly 159.9 square feet? Yes, we do. Do we recommend using them for storage purposes only? Absolutely. So
I'm
that's
storing furniture in there.
Yeah, storing
And a
whatever you
bed.
want to store is your own business.
Sheets.
But that's what we've done. And then we also, as we announced on Sunday, we've put up versions of that with a loft. However, it is my strong recommendation to make sure you're crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's, and bribing any local officials you need to bribe. So that's all I'll say about that. Ultimately,
Free stay in a bunkie.
complying with your local mafia is up to you. Do you restrict or accept smoking or cannabis use with Airbnb?
Oh, that's a biggie. Because people come here to do that. I have had someone ask me, basically straight up with me, really funny. This person was a prosecuting attorney in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
I know this guy. He was retired like a year or two earlier. I know this guy has probably put tens of people, if not more, away in jail for possession or distribution charges or for marijuana. And he and his wife came here to smoke weed.
Oh my
I
goodness.
kid you not.
Is it legal in your state, in Illinois?
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
So,
but in Georgia, it's not.
correct. And it wasn't illegal here until a few years ago. Yeah. So actually, Georgia's loosening now. I can't remember what their laws are, but it's loosening. It's loosening everywhere because they want the money. They want the tax money.
Yeah.
The floodgates are open. But yeah, they came but he was a obviously fairly high net worth individual, and like he kind of got it. And I said, and he straight up asked, and I was like, outside obviously probably if you can like get 100 feet away. And put a smoking jacket on and leave that jacket outside when you go inside, because if you're out there toking it up, then you probably don't think it stinks, but to everybody else,
yeah,
it stinks, and we can smell it even when you don't think we can.
Yep, that's good.
It gets on everything and it sticks. And I have put now absolutely no smoking of cannabis on the property, just because the people that are coming to do it. You can ask them to do it responsibly, and your cabin's still going to stink when they're done.
One stoner ruins it for the rest of us.
Just their clothes. Yeah. I mean, just having their clothes in there, you can still smell it 2 days later.
Yeah, I've heard of VRBO and Airbnb leaning on the side of the tenants for disputes, or I guess the renters. What's your experience? Really enjoying the two perspective here. It helps. Good. Have you had many disputes? I haven't had any real serious disputes, really, personally, but
it's oh gosh, what was it? I think I cannot remember what it was. There was one instance where I felt like this righteous indignation against the tenant for something. Gosh, what was it? It might have just been a review. Maybe a little bit. It was less than $100, or it was a review, something like that. And they did side with the tenant.
Yeah.
But basically it was, it wasn't a damage thing.
They disrespected your dog.
I can't remember what it was. They disrespected my dog, said it was
that's
fat,
$100.
something. I was really mad. And they were like, sorry, can't do anything about it. Not against policy.
Yeah. What kind of rules or paperwork are involved with Airbnb and short-term rentals?
Check with your local mafia.
Yeah.
My county has instituted a 0.5% tax because it's a rural county with nothing. Actually, we do have light industry now. We have a cannabis processing facility, but other than that, it's all about weed, man.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's just kind of farming and tourism, and so they've got to get some money, and I have no problem paying that.
Cool.
Because it's easy.
Are you handling turnover? You said that you were paying someone part-time, and you and Becky are doing it part-time. So
yeah. My cleaning fee just goes to them. And, when she's been sick or whatever, had something, car trouble, we handle it. There's another app and a website called Turno, Turno. And if you get an account on there, think Turno, right?
Yeah.
You get an account on there, you put your property up, say kind of what the basic specs are, and within like 5 minutes, you will have people bidding to clean your place, to do it. And they get rated within Turno too.
That's a great model.
There's accountability all around.
Okay. So I think we should wrap things up because these are great questions. And
I got a free offer.
Yeah. So I was going to suggest, so Keith's thinking about doing the air.
Well, I got another free offer.
Okay, yeah. Tell us about your offer.
If anybody wants to put in a bunkie, I'll manage it for them, which basically, and I'll take 20% to manage it.
That's a very reasonable 20.
And I'll turn it over to Evolve, and they'll take 10, and I'll take 10, and they'll do all the work. So.
Okay. All right. It's been a wild ride. Thank you so much for your time. Sorry to get to all the questions. I'm doing my best here, but they're really good questions. Maybe we'll try to go back and comment on them. The toque, though. So I have two things I got to do. I got to say a code word so that you can get the points on tonight's Bunkie contest scoreboard. That code word is King. K-I-N-G. K-I-N-G. King. And then the toque, I'm gonna message somebody. I got to read the comments from on Sunday. So apologize I didn't get that. Let's talk about one more thing though. Hold on. The Epic Winter Sale. It's on. Basically kicks off very soon. If you want to see if you qualify for the pre-sale, though, go to bunkielife.com/presale, and you can get the biggest sale of the year plus a little bonus perk. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Keith, I'll give you the final word, sir. Is there?
Well, first off, we got to talk about this sale thing because I don't know how we're going to make any money. Honestly, I just saw the prices on some of the stuff today, and I was like, Right. I just told somebody I was going to give them a good old boy discount, and it's not as good as a sale. So I'm a little upset about that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, if you guys want to invade America tonight, or just call your American friends and tell them to check it out, I'm gonna act like David, and I'm gonna go to Bunkie Life Heartland and go live on Instagram Live, maybe Facebook Live too. I'm not sure if I could do it at the same time. I'm not as technologically set up as David is.
Okay, cool.
And I'm gonna do a Q&A over there. So if you want to continue Q&Aing with me, go to Bunkie Life Heartland. And within 5 minutes of shutting this down, I should be live over there. And I'll play a song for you and answer questions.
When you say Bunkie Life Heartland, they'll go to Instagram, go on their Instagram app, and they're going to add. Let me just share what the actual account, because it's not Bunkie Life. It's a affiliated but not connected one. So let me just show you. Bunkie Life. That's not the one. So you want to go. Okay. Yeah, you want to go to Instagram.com/Bunkie Life Heartland, I think is it. It's Bunkie_Life_Heartland. Is that it? Yeah, Bunkie.
I think that's right. Yep.
Heartland. If you just type Bunkie Life Heartland, it'll come up though. And
yeah,
it'd be totally worth it. He's got a lot of great videos. They're getting great reviews, and I like the video.
Actually, that last one I did, it's not very popular, maybe because it's very demanding, but if you're thinking about Airbnb and you're on the fence about doing it, you need to watch that video for motivation.
You're talking about this one right here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like, do it.
I like the ones of you and your kids building them. This is the. Can you guys see this? Okay, there's the kids in front of the package, and yeah, really cool. Okay, well, make sure you tune in on Thursday evening. It's going to be great, and it's going to be wild, and you want to check it out. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to tune in. I hope it was informative. Was it helpful? Did you like Keith? Did you like the general vibe tonight? I appreciated it. So make sure you tune into that. And the live stream is happening Thursday evening at 8:00. Why we do this, and then of course Sunday we'll be announcing the grand prize winner. Yeah, that's pretty much tonight's live stream. Thanks so much, Keith, and thanks so much, everyone. Have a great evening.
You betcha.
Okay, bye for now.